to family. I am Melissa Johnson, your real estate informant, here to get you and keep you in the loop. So our topic of discussion today is simply going to be, what is the difference between personal property and real property? What is the difference between personal property and real property? Well, personal property is that property that can be owned and doesn't fit into the definition of real property, right? So personal property would be those things that are movable, those things that you personally own that are movable, such as chairs, furniture, bank accounts, bonds, clothing, right? Shoes, just things that belong to you and are movable. And so those things are what we would consider to be personal property. Even, let's say, for instance, you take a mobile home or a manufactured home. A manufactured home is considered a personal property. It's considered personal property until it is affixed and attached to some real estate or some land. Okay, so once now that manufactured home becomes affixed to that land, it is now real property or real estate, right, versus personal property. So I hope that gave us a good vision to get an understanding. So that is going to be considered personal property. Another thing that is considered personal property versus real property, let's say we have a farmer who has a piece of land or a farm, and now he has to sell this farm, and he sells it, right? Well, he has the right to come back, right, and harvest all the crop that that has grown upon that land. So let me see if I can make it easier when we're talking about crops, when we're talking being personal property versus being real estate. So that farmer who has the crops, right, who has vegetables, who has fruits, who have grains and things of that nature, he can go back. After he has sold that property, he can still go back, right? He has the right to go back and harvest his crop that he just planted that past year. Okay, so items, fruit, things that are harvested on an annual basis are considered personal property. Now you can take that same idea and it will be considered a real estate, such as a vineyard, right, or a orchard, which will be considered now real estate. So all those things like that sort of vary with the state. So those are some things you really have to look at state by state. Okay, so when we're talking about personal property, we have when these plants, right? So we're talking about grains, crops that could be harvested versus bushes, trees, orchards, vineyards. Okay, all those things will be considered real estate. So you want to keep those things in mind, especially if you are a seller and you are getting ready to sell. One of the selling points for your house could have been those rose bushes that were coming up the driveway, right? And now that buyer wants that house and purchases that house because they were looking for the road. They love the rose bushes coming up the driveway. Well, guess what? Lo and behold, closing, they come back, they're going up the driveway. Where are the rose bushes? You have just stolen from the property, right? Because those rose bushes, especially if it was not stated in the purchase and sales agreement that the rose bushes were going, then the rose bushes should have stayed because they are real estate property. Okay, now we have fixtures. So fixtures now are personal property that have been attached to land, or attached to a building, and by law it is considered real property. Okay, so any kind of personal property that you attach to a building or attach to some land has now become real estate property, such as an air conditioner unit, right? When you bought it, it was just sitting here. It's personal property. It's my unit. But time you attached it to the house or attached it to the building, it became a part of the real estate, right? It's a permanent fixture that has been attached. It is a part of that property, okay? Kitchen cabinets. Do you know how many people will take the cabinets down? Kitchen cabinets, okay? Light fixtures, permanently attached to the building, now have become a part of that property real estate. Ceiling fans, right, a part of the property. So even drapes, did you hear me what I said? Even drapes will be considered part of the property if it is not written in the purchase and sales agreement that it is not staying. So the best bet is to take them down before you start showing the house. Okay. TV mounts. You know how you mount your TV up on the wall? Guess what? You get to take your TV, but that mount has now been permanently affixed into the walls, right? Into the beams, and it is now considered a fixture that is a permanent part of this building. So you have to leave that mount there unless, of course, it is stated that it is coming down and you are able to repair that wall where you do not see the damage where that mount was at. Okay, so if you take it down, you have to repair the wall where you cannot see the damage from where the mount was. Okay, so just best, again, take it down before you show the house. Okay, so you have those things. Now, there are, of course, some things that you want to keep in mind, that again, when you're talking about personal property versus real estate. Listen, even the mirrors. I just want to point this out, because especially as a seller, a lot of times, you know, we have these things up and they are sometimes they're heirlooms. Did I say that right? Heirlooms. Things that were handed down, you inherited. Okay. It was my mom and them, okay? And so, and they are sentimental to you and you plan on taking them, but a buyer, say for instance, if you have this big, beautiful Victorian type mirror, right, in the bathroom, and that may have been the selling point for the buyer, the reason they bought the house again, and they're expecting to see that mirror. Well, when they come, you've taken the mirror down, you've replaced it with another mirror. That buyer is going to be livid and upset because they love the bathroom just because of that mirror, right? And so as a buyer, you want to make sure when it's things like that, just cover all your bases. Don't automatically assume that it's going to be left, okay? You need to ask, is this mirror staying? This is a permanent fixture. Where it be going? You know, especially if it's one of those that look like it can come down real easy. You want to ask about that. As a seller, right? If you know you're gonna take it with you, go ahead and take it down. Go ahead and replace it before you start showing the house, because it could be a selling point for the house, and you know that was something that the buyer was looking forward to, and now you've removed it. Okay, so you want to go ahead and take that down, and go ahead and replace it. And if it's not staying and you don't want to take it down just yet, then make sure you state in the purchase and sales agreement that the mirror in the bathroom, the downstairs bathroom, will not be staying. So you want to make sure you put all of those things in that purchase and sales agreement. Okay. And so lastly, we want to talk about, when we're talking about businesses, right? Businesses that have business fixtures, or what they have, what they're called. When you have a business fixture and you're getting ready to move out of that particular location, what would be something that would have a fixture? A salon. Why would I think of that one of all things, right? But anyways, a salon is a business that has fixtures, right? That will become permanently attached to that piece of property, that building. But when the lease is up and we're moving out, now this has to come out. So what I'm referring to is like the shampoo bowl that is attached to the wall, attached to the pipings, right? But when that salon is about to move, they have to remove that fixture of that shampoo bowl, and they have to replace everything, put everything back in place so that there is no damage. So when the shampoo bowl is removed, that wall should be good to go. Should be no damage on that wall, no damage in that area, right? That has messed up the value or whatever, or the, you know, the decor, if you would, of that building or that space. Okay. And so of course, because that is permanently attached to the wall, then if you're removing it, then you have to make sure that it is put back in place, and that is going to be on you, the person who is leaving that property. So that is, I hope that was very clear, right? If it was not, and you have more questions, feel free to leave some comments and some questions down in the comment section, rather, and I will do my very best to answer those questions for you. So that is real property versus personal property. If you have any questions, put them down here. I'll answer them for you the best I can. I'm Melissa Johnson, your real estate informant, here to get you and keep you in the loop. Until next time, bye.